This is That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome, welcome. We are here to talk. We are here to bring some civil conversation to an otherwise discordant world. How are you, Andy?
I'm getting slurped by our executive producer right now. This is, in case you hear it in the background, that is the dog.
The incessant slurping, licking, and kissing of a 45-pound cat, essentially. But she's a good dog, and she's a great producer.
And now my hand is soaked. Soaked in slobber.
I think that says it all right there.
I think we just got ourselves a new fan base.
Maybe. The four-legged kind.
Yeah.
Low to the ground, preferably. So welcome to new and old listeners. You know, we've been getting some listeners.
It's mostly me while I'm in the truck.
I mean, maybe, but it's pretty cool. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. Anyone new to it, we have some rules here at That Talking Podcast in the tradition of keeping civil conversations civil. Our rules are simple: no judgment, nothing personal, and just don't
be a dick.
Just don't be a dick all around. So we're here to talk. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about movies. I want to talk about something fun, something we're all into, something that we could go on ad nauseum about forever and ever and ever.
You know, we have a movie date scheduled for this weekend.
We do. You had to remind me of that because I completely forgot because I am so scatterbrained thanks to everything that's going on lately. I just, but I do love our movie dates. I really do. Yeah. You have made it so that I can enjoy going to the movies again because for a while, I have said to so many people for so long, I don't see a need to go to the movies. I just don't. I don't want to spend all the money. There's nothing that comes out nowadays that's really all that appealing to me. I hang on to the movies of yesterday that I have grown up with, that I can quote at great lengths, and people to this day will say to me, like, where did that come from? Like, why, how do you know so much? And I have to tell them, I go, I had a lot of free time as a kid to watch television and movies because honestly, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah.
If I went out, I was going to get abducted. I was going to get into drugs and gangs and this and that.
Did you?
A few times, yeah. I lived a very, very sheltered upbringing, and so...
See, whereas I, on the other hand, I was given $10 a week, dropped off at the mall and said, call us whenever you need a ride back. And we went to a movie every Friday. And it didn't matter what was playing. It truly didn't. Most of the time we got there, we didn't even know what movies were out. I mean, that was back in the day when you were looking up like movie times in the newspaper or calling movie phone. But
I could still recite you the Lowe's Cinema phone message.
No doubt. But we would go to a movie, whether it was me and my best friend, or if we had dates, which did happen.
Oh, I got a great side story about that.
We would be literally just dropped off at the mall. We would be given $10.
The theater was at the mall?
Yeah. Okay. At that time, yeah. And it was get yourself a slice of pizza, go see a movie, give us a call when, and if we didn't call, then the mall closed at 9:30 and we would just be on the sidewalk.
See, until Lowe's opened up, which now AMC... No, back in the day it was Sony. It was Sony and or Lowe's. It was Sony Movie Theater. That's what we always called it. In Danbury, all we had was Edmond Town Hall in Newtown. It was the local theater. It always played the new movies a couple months after they had released in the major theaters. They were always, for the longest time, $1. After
a dollar?
$1.
A single dollar.
After so many years, they raised it to $2. And for the entirety of my life until... I'd say maybe the last 10 years, it stayed $2. It is now $3 unless it's free, which is what you got.
Gasp. Yeah. $3 whole.
Right, because now they're doing certain free movies on certain weekends, which is what we're going to see this weekend.
I do remember when movie ticket prices went from $5.75 to $8. It was outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
It was outrageous. And I think cigarettes did the same thing that year.
But the snack prices are comparable to the ticket prices because we can go to Town Hall and see a movie with food for, under $20, I would say?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's like popcorn, soda, candy, the whole
And
works.
We'll spend triple that if we go to Danbury.
Yeah. I mean, because they want to, movie theaters, they want, that's where they make their money. I mean, we went to go see Nightmare Before Christmas, and we paid a good amount of money for those snacks, but we also got like 4 pounds of pretzel. That pretzel was
That's
gigantic.
because
That
you
was
got a
way
pizza-sized pretzel.
that was way
I think
more
I
than
had
worth
bites
of
because I
like
always get them with
two
the cheese.
people.
It was in a pizza box.
It was a very large Bavarian pretzel. That was
What makes it Bavarian?
I think all pretzels are Bavarian.
From Bavaria?
Yes, it's a German thing. That's why pretzels are a part of like, German Fest and Oktoberfest and stuff.
All right.
Right?
Now I know.
Pretzels are Bavarian. Although they may as well be bagels because they're boiled the same thing. It's the same thing. End of meeting. That's your history.
So,
That's your pretzel lesson for today.
I'm going to need a few more of those. So getting back to the dating aspect of it.
Oh, yeah?
I remember being in middle school and asking one of my older brothers, I said, well, they're all older, but anyway, I said, how do you go about getting a date? Because if you haven't had a date yet, you don't know. You have to learn from seeing or watch or, hearing it from somebody.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what do you do? How do you plan it out? He's like, well, when I was your age, we would get out of school and then we'd go to town hall and see a $2 movie. And then we'd go down to my place for a slice. And that was it.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's how you go about doing it. But again, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere by myself.
Yeah.
At least until I started driving or just, walking places.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But, we would go. I remember I would tell my parents, yeah, you just drop me off at town hall. And then once they were gone and out of sight, we would walk at anywhere we could.
Naturally.
But have to be back at town hall by 9:30. Hey, you weren't here at 9:30. We were in the gym or, somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we got around to asking. We didn't really ask for dates. We were just sort of like, we think these guys are cute. Do they think we're cute? We're all going to go to the mall. And we're going to go to the movies because that's where you make out. Mm-hmm. And then we would just spend the rest of the time walking around with our hands in each other's back pockets.
I'm sure there was a fair amount of that going on in our town, but
I feel like your town was on the other side of the tracks from mine. Mine seems like very, very latchkey kid kind of.
Well, no, there was plenty
Lord,
of that.
Lord of the Flies free for all on my side of the tracks.
I mean, again, we spent most of our nights at the local teen center because that's where all the bands always ended up playing.
You had a teen center?
We still do.
We had a pool hall.
Well, there was a pool table at the teen center, so we didn't need a pool hall.
We had a pool hall.
Our pool hall was Boston Billiards, which, you had to be 21 to get into anyway.
Yeah. I was so close to getting in there.
Yeah.
So close. I was 20. I was 20 when it closed down. I was so close.
Listen, Discovery Zone was down the block, so that's
I never went to Discovery Zone.
You missed out.
Apparently.
Yeah,
I never went to Sport Time USA either.
Oh, you missed out.
Right?
Yeah. I remember John had quite a few birthday parties there. That was
yeah, I never got to go.
Sportland, I think that's what it was. Yeah. And then they changed it to Fun Station. And then some kid got his hand cut off on the train.
Wow.
Yeah. Some kid decided to put his hand like in the line of the tracks. Or that was the story I was told. And the train came by and he may be walking around without a hand.
Anyway.
Back to movies.
Back to
the movies. And I have, in recent years, appreciated so much more going back to town hall, or at least going to our local movie theater where there's only 4 screens. It's within walking distance. It's not as expensive as Danbury. They're starting to re-release or re-show older movies, which I mean, because we don't have cable, so we don't see commercials or ads for new movies. It's all internet based. But the trailers and things that we do see, there's really nothing that piques my interest. There's nothing that they're putting out now that isn't a remake or a reboot of something that we haven't, or a story that we haven't already seen or heard before.
I mean, most of the stuff that most of the movies that I want to go see are at this point like sequels to movies that I've always loved. And the reason why I even know that the movies are coming out is because people like me who are always enjoying these movies are talking about, holy shit, did you know that there's going to be a sequel coming out? And I'm just like, well, obviously now I have to go see it.
Like we just went and saw Ghostbusters a couple of weeks ago. Now, granted, I would have much preferred to see the original in a theater because I wasn't able to see the original in a theater.
I would have really enjoyed seeing all 4 of them. Ghostbusters 1, 2, Afterlife, and Frozen Empire, just make a day out of it. That would have been fucking amazing.
What was it? Afterlife was the last one?
Afterlife was the one before Frozen Empire.
That was our first movie date.
It was. And yeah, that was a good one.
We went.
Did you fall asleep for that one?
No.
No.
We had been dating for,
that was in November.
Like 2 weeks.
So it was like 2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
And I
think that was right before
theater,
Thanksgiving.
And there was a makeup, like a mock of Ecto 1 parked out front.
Yeah, just an old-timey ambulance.
Yeah.
That was great.
What a way
I
I
loved it. I mean, it was the same thing like going to see like all of like the sequel Star Wars trilogy in theaters. I remember everyone was just pissed off at that point. I mean, trying to get tickets for The Force Awakens was ridiculously difficult. And a friend of mine bought out the entire theater and just sold the tickets to people who wanted, because it came out on his birthday.
Right.
So we basically just had like a huge party at Alamo. And then getting tickets for The Last Jedi was fucking snap, because after The Force Awakens, no one wanted to see it but me.
See, now, I at least was able, I'm sure you were too, to go and see the original trilogy back in the late 90s before Phantom Menace came out.
But you know what? I didn't.
No?
No, I didn't. I did see all 3 prequels in theaters when they came out, but when they re-released the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, I did not go see it.
Now, we're not here to talk about Star Wars, what you like, what you don't like, but I will say this, the original trilogy to me, okay, and this is what I want to get into with the rest of this conversation, is something about it where before the special effects and computerized graphics and everything became pretty much what a lot of movies are centered around today, there was an element of acting and storytelling that is largely lost in modern movies, or at least that's my take on it. Because when you think about the original trilogy, you think about Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and the presence that they brought to those roles, which you don't necessarily see as much of, or it's not as impactful today.
So you don't think that, I mean, not just Star Wars, surely.
Right.
You think that today, movies coming out, have a lack? They're lacking in their storytelling?
I don't feel like actors today use enough of the craft or have perfected enough of the craft of acting and employ it in their performance. I can't see that in modern movies compared with movies of the last 3 to 4 decades, further than that. Do
you think that it's the movies that you're seeing, or do you think that it's a generalization? Like, because, I mean, not to badmouth or poo-poo anything, all right, but the only movie that you have really been gung-ho in the time that you and I have been together, the only movie that you have been gung-ho about going to see is Fast 10. You wanted to see that. I did not, but I went along, and now thanks to you, I have to see the rest of it.
Well, that's exactly why.
You're talking about an entire franchise that has nothing to do with really telling a story or the craft of acting.
In my defense of that,
specifically about the action.
I remember, because I was at an impressionable age when the first one came out, okay? Didn't really care for the second one or much of the sequels, really. But the first one it left enough of an impression to where, okay, I want to follow this story. I want to see what happens. It's kind of like when you and I got together and there were shows that I was watching or wanted to watch, and I didn't expect you to get into them, but you said to me, okay, now I have to see what happens.
I don't know what it is about that. It's the same reason why I watched Lost and everything. I had
you get invested.
No interest in watching this, and then ended up watching it over someone's shoulder, and now I have to know what happened.
A lot of shows that you've introduced me to, that's the position I took, because I never would have watched them on my own, but once I come home enough times and you've got it on, or I walk into the room and you're watching, and I say, okay, well, I've got enough of it in my ears, in the back of my head, and I'm taking in enough of it to where it's like, okay, now I'm invested. Now I've heard enough of what's going on to be like, oh, what happens next?
See, and it's because my go-to, whenever it comes to movies, my go-tos are typically older movies.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, like, and not just like 80s and 90s, but like I like movies from the the 40s through the 60s and everything. It's stuff that, my parents used to watch that, of course, I as a child don't really understand, but I'm going to sit on the rug and I'm going to watch them and then see them later as an adult and decide. I mean, my favorite movie of all time, my favorite movies are Psycho, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and To Kill a Mockingbird. My favorite movies of all time are those three. And it's just, I will always have an affinity for movies like that. At the same time, did I, in fact, devote a summer to watching the entire Saw franchise? Yeah.
And almost got me too.
Oh, you know what? And yeah, but you know what? Is that I tried to put you through that. And honestly, I realized that I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I really don't want to do this again.
I, on my own, was able to watch the first three, but after that, it's like, okay, it's kind of like the Fast franchise. It's the same thing over and over and over. I don't really need to see what happens past this.
You don't, but I will say, I absolutely avoided these movies for over a decade. I avoided seeing them for over a decade when they first started coming out because I did not want to. To me, that's not the type of horror I'm into. I am not into the gratuitous violence and the gore and stuff like that. But let me tell you, I sucked it up. I went ahead and I watched it and I was like, okay, well now I never have to see it again. And then I kept going and I was like, uh-oh, I'm actually intrigued by where the story is going. And if you can get through the entire franchise, it is actually brilliant.
See, I've heard a lot of people say exactly that about
brilliant
horror in general. And, I feel mostly the same way. But the horror movies that I do enjoy are very specific for specific reasons. There are certain things about, because you know me, we're very much alike in the sense that we'll watch the same movies over and over and over again because we never grow tired of them.
Yes.
And the horror movies that are in my DVD collection, as you'll see me rewatch, it was either that I saw it at an impressionable time, or there's just something about it that speaks to me. Like, I don't really like older horror. I just don't like horror in general. But the remake of Dawn of the Dead, I'll watch that all day, every day.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the cast. Maybe it's the way it was filmed. Something about it. I like that. Okay. And then my favorite movie of all time is The Crow. The original Crow.
Sexy.
I will probably see the remake just because I want to see how it differs from the original.
I worry about it. I'm nervous.
But every aspect of that movie, from cast to crew to aesthetic to storytelling, it's
beautiful.
It was at a point I saw, because my brother always had the poster in his room, and so
like you did at that time.
If you could see pictures of my bedroom at my parents' house,
no doubt,
posters floor to ceiling.
Same.
And so that is the be all end all of movies for me. Now that's not the only. I have a list here that I could go on at length talking about, that I could rewatch on any given day. And like you just said, there were certain movies that I waited and waited and waited, basically because I was just lazy and the opportunity had never come up. But like The Godfather, for example, people would say, "You've never seen The Godfather? How are you an Italian who's never seen The Godfather?" And then one day, within, I want to say, the last 5 years, I put it on. And
within the last 5 years?
Maybe 5 to 7, I'd say. And thought to myself, how have I gone this long? This is actually a lot better than I anticipated.
I just saw it for the first time when you showed it to me last year. I'd literally never seen it before, and you showed it to me last year. You showed me 1 and 2.
And it's actually been preserved because of its cultural and historical relevance.
I'm honestly just glad that I don't have to watch it again. Although you have put it on again since then.
And it's not even because of the memes, it's not because of the quotes, it's because sometimes I just want to watch that movie. I just want to watch it in its sequence and just be entertained.
Someone put a bullet in his eye.
That's the second one. Okay? And we could do an entire series on the second one because everyone's got something to say about the second one.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the movies that you didn't think you were going to like but actually ended up loving?
Oh, God. I'm not going to say Saw. I'm not going to say it. I will tip my hat 5,000 times to the writers. I will. I will absolutely tip my hat 5,000% to the writers. Movies I didn't think I would really enjoy. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The Expendables.
Yeah.
That I think they're fucking hilarious. I could watch the three Expendables movies, and because I do not like action movies. I'm not a fan, which is why I didn't want to see Fast and Furious, but fine.
Yeah, Jason Momoa did it for you.
Yeah, Momoa did do it for me. I will say that.
I think that's the only reason he's in there.
But I thought the Expendables were so fucking funny.
Well, in that same vein, I didn't think I was going to like Despicable Me or the Minions movies, but you turned me onto that
You
as well.
have to. I find nothing irredeemable about it. They're brilliant.
Now, going with that, I'm still not going to be able to get into Jaws, no matter how much you love that movie or how much anyone loves that movie. But you did take me to see during our last anniversary a play based on the making of, which I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Well, because it was. I have been talking for years. I think the first time I saw the True Hollywood Story behind the making of Jaws, I had to have been in high school or something like that. And it's just, you remember True Hollywood Story. And it's like a 2-hour documentary, basically.
Oh, I love that.
And just listening to the story and all of just the mayhem and the mishaps and everything like that. As soon as I saw that Ian Shaw was writing this play, I'm like, well, fuck me running. We must see this. And it premiered, I think in Scotland. And as soon as I saw it was coming to New York, have to go see it.
Wait a second.
Have to go see it. I was so ecstatic that it was coming to America.
You don't like action movies?
Not particularly.
How do you explain Indiana Jones 3 then?
That is, see, okay, so action movies, right? Like crash and burn disaster movies and stuff like that. That kind of action.
Okay.
Adventure movies. Totally different.
That is an adventure.
Absolutely. You can take me on an adventure anytime. But yeah, I remember going to see Independence Day in theaters, and I'm pretty sure to this day, the only reason why I asked my dad to take me to see it was because I was jealous that he took my sister to see it. And when everything started blowing up, I had to leave the theater.
Yeah.
It made me so dizzy. And so, just the rumbling and everything, it almost made me nauseous. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to step outside. But, I think the first movie my dad ever took me to see was The Rocketeer, which is essentially an action movie. And I fucking love The Rocketeer. Make fun of me all you want. I don't give a shit. But
nothing to. I mean, I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Guess what's on the list now?
Don't you dare.
It's fantastic. Come on. I mean, with the exception that as a young child, I did develop a crush on Timothy Dalton, who played a Nazi in this movie.
See,
and I was very much like, as I grow up, I realized that was a poor choice to make.
It sounds like you have some pretty vivid memories of where you were when you saw movies, when you saw them, how you saw them, how you were feeling when you saw them.
Yeah.
I have vivid memories of every time we went to town hall and all the movies that I saw when I was younger.
Yeah.
When, because it was only one movie at a time. It's not like they were playing 3 or 4 in a weekend.
Right.
It was just one for literally the whole week.
Right.
And they would just rotate them out. And I remember seeing Mrs. Doubtfire when it came out.
When it was new?
When it was new.
Neat.
I remember seeing, I think, Forrest Gump. I remember seeing Deep Impact. I remember seeing, because, again, we didn't get the Danbury movie theater.
Was Deep Impact the one that you made me watch?
Yes.
Yeah, with Taya Leone.
And Morgan Freeman.
Was Morgan Freeman in that?
Morgan Freeman was the president.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman.
But yeah, I mean, I have these vivid memories because these are the things I think a lot of people think of things like movies and TV and music and everything as very frivolous, very superficial kind of aspects of your growing up, but it influenced me, and obviously you too. It influenced us during our impressionable years. I cannot begin to tell you how movies and music especially have actually quite literally developed my sense of what kind of life I want to have. And not just like I see a rich person in the movies and I want to be rich. Like, I have an emotional reaction to things because I remember what it was like when I was first, exposed to these things and everything. And I remember how that feels, and it's in my guts and in my heart now and everything. And it is, influencing the way that my life has evolved because I have wanted it to go that way. And I think that's my favorite part. That's what brings me back to the movies that mean so much to me. That's why I watch My Little Pony all the time.
So, now, in that same vein, I mean, obviously, for those who don't know, I grew up a huge Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan. I had all the toys and, the clothes and everything. And I remember when the first movie came out, it was the big thing, and my brother took me, and I was so excited and everything. But then the second movie came out, and it's infinitely worse than the first one. Okay, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not really sorry, but it's infinite. Just it's a bad story, bad everything. But I had to see it because I was a fan, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. And I could not get anyone to take me on opening day. Could not. I was
How old were you?
9, I think.
Aww.
And I was so upset. But lo and behold, the last showing was at either 11 or midnight that night. And my mother actually took me.
Good woman.
To Sony, Lowe's, whatever, at the time. And we were the only ones in the theater at 11 o'clock at night. We didn't get out of there until, 1 in the morning,
That's
whatever
pretty
it
rad.
was. And I made her sit front row. So our necks were killing us by the end of that. But I will never forget that night because that was one of, if not the greatest thing that she could ever do for me at that point in my life.
That's sweet.
And as much as I'll cringe watching that movie now, on the rare occasion that I ever actually do, it's literally only just to think of my mother.
Sure.
Because she loved telling that story.
Yeah.
And I love that story. I always, when I think of that movie, I will always think fondly of that memory.
Whereas my mother took me to see Dracula Dead and Loving It in theaters, and it was just me and my mom, but she still refuses to believe that she took me and my sister to see Dumb and Dumber in theaters.
I'm pretty sure our parents took us to see that too.
She absolutely took us to see that movie. Yeah. She just knew it was the guy from Ace Ventura, and that was it. And I don't even remember when exactly that movie came out, but I remember my mother brought me and my sister to the mall, and we watched that movie. And I don't know if she's completely just repressed the memory of it, or if she is refusing to admit that she paid to take her 2 children to see that movie.
See, now, at least because John and I are he's the one I'm closest in age to.
Yeah.
He and I were always watching movie together, whether it was, going to the theater with our parents because our other brothers were older, or we're watching them at home together. I mean, I have so many memories of just laying on our stomachs in front of the TV in the living room and looking up at the TV and just taking it all in, whatever it happened to be. Like that scene in Home Alone 2 when he's dropping the bricks on Daniel Stern.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember just cracking up laughing, just uncontrollable laughter.
Yeah.
I remember when Mortal Kombat came out, and I was so terrified when Goro came out, because I only was, I think, 4 or 5 at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember making John take me to the bathroom during that scene, and then we walked back in when, Johnny Cage was like, those are $500 sunglasses, asshole.
We used to my parents, when my parents wanted to watch a movie that we were not allowed to watch, we would be sent to our rooms, obviously, go play in your rooms, we're going to watch a movie. But I would sneak very quietly to the end of the hallway and just sort of stand at the corner of where the hallway and the living room met and everything. And just one eye around the corner, just watching the movie. And I did that accidentally. I say accidentally. I don't know why I did, but they were watching Jurassic Park. And it was
Which one did you
it was the part where with the cow.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I've made a terrible mistake," and just ran back to my room. I was like, "Well, I learned my lesson."
See, I remember fighting Dad tooth and nail on letting me watch A Few Good Men. Now, mind you, one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
Start to finish. I mean, you know, you concur that Aaron Sorkin is an excellent writer.
He's a genius, yes.
And one of my favorite movies ever. But he was adamant about getting me out of the room, but inevitably just gave up because he got tired of arguing.
Yeah.
And I was that annoying kid who had to ask what everything meant and, you know, why did this happen? Why did they say that?
Yeah.
It didn't hit me until years later that there was a blowjob reference in there.
There is?
Midway when Jack Nicholson's like, if you haven't gotten a blowjob from a superior officer, you're letting the best in life pass you by. So that one went right over my head.
Boy.
And now I can see why I wasn't supposed to be, because there wasn't anything, you know, like in the opening scene when they accidentally kill the guy, like there was nothing graphic about it really, other than, because it was dark. It wasn't, you weren't able to see very much. Dialogue wise and storytelling, I mean, that's a great movie, you know?
There are a lot of them. I mean, I remember when I was first allowed to watch rated R movies at home and everything. It was like language, but no sex. Like I was allowed to watch My Cousin Vinny, but not Pretty Woman, because Pretty Woman was about hookers. And, you know, I guess my mother just, you know, understood the kind of influence movies had on me. But I'm glad I'm able to watch them now, and I'm glad I'm able to watch them with you. Yeah, because we're grown-ups now, and we can make those decisions. And we can do whatever we want.
we're still not done showing each other movies from.
Oh God, no!
Like that, for example. Like I'd never even heard of The Ref.
It's a great.
Or a lot of movies
it's a great
that you showed me. Like
movie.
I'd never heard of Defending Your Life. I'd never heard of what's the other one? Gung Ho? Is that it?
Yeah.
That's the name of it?
And that one, I mean, you talk about movies like
I've never heard of 9 to 5.
I don't understand that.
Well, because I'm not the demographic for that.
Well, I guess that's true. I mean, you grew up in a house full of boys.
Yeah.
So I guess
we
that's
were watching,
understandable.
you know, I remember we had to see every single Adam Sandler movie, and we're always quoting them back then. I remember we had, you know, but then because I was the youngest of 4, and my parents are older, I was always going back to watch movies that I had not grown up with. So a lot of 80s movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Ghostbusters and things like that. I remember getting The Big Lebowski when I was probably 21, 22.
Yeah.
And saw it once, and then I proceeded to watch it every single day for 2 months straight. It did not get old.
That's crazy.
I was hooked.
I mean,
and that's not the first time that's happened either.
That's something.
Yeah.
That's something. I don't know that there's any movie that I could do that with. I don't know.
I think I did the same thing with Shawshank because
I
think we were visiting Mark one time and it was on TV and I caught it halfway through. And it was another one of those ones where I'm like, why didn't I see this earlier? And I immediately had to buy it when I got home and watch it. And then I watched it again and again. And even now, it doesn't matter where it is. I'll turn it on and I'll watch it because it's a good movie. It's a good story. Yeah. It's good acting. It's got everything that you want to see in a quality film.
Are there movies that you refuse to watch?
Anything with spiders in them.
Fair.
So no arachnophobia, no eight-legged freaks.
You won't be watching It with me?
Probably not.
No.
I
mean, he's only a spider for a little while.
You watch now. Anybody who listens to this is going to do anything they can with a spider just to piss me off.
But you're pretty open-minded. I think we both are. I think we're both pretty open-minded. There are very few things where I'm just like, I will not watch that.
Such as?
I think the only movie that I've ever said that I will not watch
is Titanic.
No. First of all, saw it in theaters, have watched it on VHS since then, and you have insisted on putting it on.
Not for us to watch. I watch it on my own.
Yes, but you did put it on for us to watch together as well. The only movie that I 5,000% said the only time I will ever watch it, because I've seen it once, and the only time I will ever watch it is if you insist on it, is The Room.
The Room?
Yes. Now, you and I watched The Disaster Artist together.
Right, yeah.
But you have not actually seen The Room. And I have.
The Room is what The Disaster Artist is based on.
Yes.
Yeah, no thanks.
And
no.
I
don't love James Franco that much.
Well, James Franco is not in the room.
All right, I don't want to see that guy again.
No, you don't, honestly. I know that it's developed some kind of weird cult following, but it is quite honestly painful to try and sit through.
Well, the clock on the wall is telling me that it's time to wrap this up.
Well, do you have any closing thoughts? You want to watch a movie tonight? What do you want to watch tonight?
Whose turn is it?
Well, this has been a good talk.
I think this has been a lot of fun.
This has been a fun one. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. Thank you. And we would love to hear your thoughts. You can find us on social media. We're on Instagram at DTAndy and JJ Star with 2 R's. We're on YouTube and TikTok. We would love to hear your questions, comments, suggestions for future conversations, and anything else that you want to talk about. Thank you, Downtown Andy, for our theme song, The Guide.
Thanks, JJ, for doing the editing.
You're welcome.
You've been doing a fantastic job so far.
So far. But yeah.
And you look great while you do it, too.
Oh, babe.
I know a movie we can watch later.
Them home movies.
Yeah.
Well, from the two of us here at That Talking Podcast, I'm JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy. And we will talk to you later.